Hey guys, welcome to Western PA and surrounding areas accountability meeting. Today we have a special guest, Greg.
Hey, what's up, Jack?
Does anybody have any questions for Greg?
Uh, Quick question, Greg. Do you need like a heads up? Like what's your timeline? Say if it's just a light kind of just maintenance fix, like maybe like paint or just like light stuff, maybe like cabinets or kitchen counters. How much of a I would say like how long would you want me like contact you before the renovations? My words aren't coming together right now, but if you know what I mean.
No, you're fine. So you need pretty much go through that list again. Sorry, you cut out for a
Let,
second on me.
let, let's say like paint, or just refinishing on a bathtub, like a reglaze, or just some light stuff. Let's say like a light TLC.
If it's light, I typically can squeeze it in. If if it's like a day or two or whatever, I can squeeze that with some of my bigger jobs.
Okay.
So I just kind of need like, hey, here's a heads up. Like about the only time that it gets really hard is like when you call me like the day before and you're like, hey, I need this done tomorrow. But if you give me like a month or like, a week or whatever, and you're like, hey, I know it's like short notice, but like in the next week, I'd like to try to get this done. Is that possible? I would say like a month in advance is probably the best amount in advance because I can definitely squeeze people in like throughout like weeks. So like if I know a month ahead, like, hey, I have this work I want done in the next month, I would say that's probably the best because then I can just kind of pick and choose like when I can go over and do it.
Hmm.
Or like say you have like tenants moving out and you're like, hey, this is when they're moving out. I'd like to try to get this done as quickly as possible. Then
Yeah.
I can like move some people around and I know for sure that I'm going there that day. But like if something's vacant and you're like, hey, I just need stuff done in this next month, that's when I can really succeed because like especially when stuff's vacant, because I can just go over there and work whenever. Like some of my Canada's investors that I'm dealing with, right, currently getting their Airbnb up. It was vacant, so like I just went over there and banged stuff out from them, like from.
Am I frozen or did everyone freeze?
No, I think he froze.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell because you're like still as well.
Yeah, I'm not really even able to answer his thoughts, so I was kind of waiting for him to come back.
Mhm.
Hey, Jack. Oh, and
Steven, did you? Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
I was just saying hey to Jack.
Hey, Sarah. Oh, he must be in a bad spot because he dropped off altogether now.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that. Oh, Mark, you were going to say something?
Oh, just if Steven found out more about listing, he was just kind of doing more kind of crunching the numbers on, and if he was able to get more information from Jeremy or Liam.
Mhm. I did. Yeah, I was just kind of just sending him the same kind of properties and just like looking at different areas and whatnot. Like I think that one area I had sent you last night, I forgot what was it called again. I would have to double check. But yeah, no, I'm looking at Homestead too. And I might yeah, that's something I might want to cover with later on. But I don't know. I'm not too familiar with Homestead, but I was looking at a Homestead, that neighborhood Homestead in Pittsburgh. Like prices are like 80 to $100,000 for a single family home that's like turnkey. So it's looking good down there. Yeah.
Hey, sorry about that. My phone overheated, so I'm back.
Uh, I what I do is when my phone starts to act up, I'll throw the defroster on with AC on full blast and up in there.
That's what I just did. I was charging it, so I'm assuming it's because I was charging it that it overheated. But we're good to go. I unplugged it and cranked it. So but yeah, Steven, like I would say like a month is probably ideal. A week is like probably like the least, and I would say like 2 or 3 days you can contact me, but I can't guarantee anything. So
Okay, for sure. Thanks, man.
yeah. Hey, you're in you still in Pittsburgh in that place?
Oh,
This
are
is
you
a
talking
different
to me?
Steven.
That
Different
yeah,
Steven.
great. That's a different
Sorry.
Steven.
Okay. All right.
I'm actually from Canada as well. Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
yeah. Wait, so you work with a lot of Canadians down in Pittsburgh then?
I work with a group of Canadians. Yeah. They live in Toronto. Well,
Oh,
not Toronto. They live like north of Toronto, but that's what they basically were like. Oh, this is where we live. Like you probably don't know where we're from. So,
and they're
uh,
doing Airbnb out in
yeah,
Pittsburgh there?
They're in Garfield.
Oh, Garfield. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ohio.
I don't mean a bug, but like if if you could ever like maybe connect me with that Canadian investor, I don't know, just like I want to kind of connect with more Canadian investors. It's kind of hard finding US Canadians investing down in the US. If you ever have like run across
Yeah.
them or something like that, like be
Yeah.
like, hey, yeah, if you don't mind,
Yeah. I can do that.
for sure. I'll actually put my phone number in the chat there too, Greg.
All right.
Or if you want to put if that makes a little bit
Yeah. I'll drop mine.
sweet, man.
Hey, Steven, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
So what makes you interested in investing in the United States, like versus where you're at?
Well, like with me being self-employed, I'm a barber, by the way. And I
Okay.
make self-employed money. For me to get financing and on like rental property, it's like it's pretty intense. It's like, they gotta check a 2-year track record and you gotta have a certain amount of money. And honestly, property where I live right now, which is Calgary, Alberta, everything's well appreciated over because people from Toronto and Vancouver's flew down here because it's cheaper. And within the last like 2, 3 years, everything's appreciated to well over like a duplex out here probably runs you $1 million plus, right? So it just doesn't even make sense cash flow wise, and also like getting approved, right? Because um I want to kind of lessen my I don't want to pay that many tax, so I'm writing out like a lot of stuff off, so my income's a little bit lower where I claim legally. I'm doing it legally, right? So like home expenses and whatnot. But yeah, no, just trying to get approved for something out here, even though I have the capital, it's quite hard. So and US kind of offers like DSCR, which blew my mind as a Canadian, right? So yeah, that's kind of why I want to invest on the US.
Okay, I figured that. But so, Mark, that's what I was telling you guys all this time about for me when I would have those foreign guys that would want to marry me when I was in the army. Like, that's exactly what they wanted access to here in the United States. But I didn't understand like 20 years ago. So, foreigners actually taught me about investing into my own country, like back in like 2007, 2008. And these guys were actually from different countries in Africa that taught me about our capitalism here. So I was wondering if it was the same for you. So it sounds like it's the same.
Yeah, it's quite tough. Like over here, we only get 5 years fixed, right? And after 5 years, you gotta kind of like requalify for another 5 years, right? So it's and when I was looking into the US and 30 years was like, whoa, you could get a 30-year during COVID for 2%, like 2 to 3%. That boggled my mind, right? So yeah, crazy.
Okay, yeah, I watched the oh God, I watched like an economic forum. I think it was last year,
Hmm.
late last year with our federal chair, our chair Powell. He does like the monetary policy here in the United States. I watched an investment forum that was like 4 hours long with him and some guys from Canada. Actually, I think they came to the United States, and
Hmm.
I learned about your guys' mortgage system. Like when I watched this 4 hour forum, and they were saying that every like 5 years you have to reset your debt. And we don't have that here other than like credit cards or commercial stuff. So you can get that on residential here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
That's crazy stuff. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm down in the US. Like, so much opportunity. So much opportunity. I feel like the government over here kind of just makes it a lot harder for investors to even invest, right? So like out in Ontario, if you invest in Ontario, like property out there, the tenant can't even pay you for 8 to 9 months,
Oh,
and they can stay inside your like the eviction process takes that long, yeah, upwards of 8 to 9 months without any rent or anything, and it's yeah, no, it's pretty crazy.
oh yeah, they tried to start that crap here for a little while, but Americans ain't having it.
Yeah, that's why I respect Americans. You guys stand up for your stuff, right? Like Canadians were almost like, thank you for not letting us invest, and I'm like,
God.
yeah, yeah. We're a little too nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I see. I see.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Hmm.
Hey, Greg, so in this area that we're in, do you need to have a GC license in order to do like a handyman business, or did you just take the extra step to getting to have your GC license?
N no, you don't need a license to be a handyman. You really don't need a license for much, honestly, of anything. Like unless you get into plumbing and electric, where some townships require it, if you get it permitted. But even on some of the permits, like you don't have to be licensed to do it. They'll just come out and check the work out.
Hmm.
So it's really dependent. If Central city of Pittsburgh, if you're in the city of Pittsburgh, they are the hardest when it comes to permits. Typically, they do require you to be certified. Like so, when it comes to electric work, when it comes to plumbing, so like that's the kind of stuff that like if it needs permitted, yes, then you do need to be licensed. But when it comes to a GC, no, it's basically just saying like I have insurance. Um, so that's all really being licensed in PA is. Which is why I think a lot of people get burnt. I mean, even in other states, I think people get burned with GCs, but in particular PA, it's a pretty low barrier of entry to be a general contractor. Um, so I mean, realistically, when you're looking at GCs in this area, you should more so look at their work and go off of recommendations as much as possible. Even though you can still get burned on that, but so yeah, that's PA in a nutshell. It's just saying that it's just saying you have insurance liability.
Okay. Yeah, I was just
Um.
wondering because
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jack.
you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, Stephen, I wanted to mention before you're talking about Homestead. Um, the one thing about Homestead is you kind of have to pay attention to where you are, where you're at, because certain areas are worse than others, and you have to pay attention more to the crime maps and stuff when you're investing in Homestead.
Okay. What
I
crime
wouldn't
map?
even say necessarily that I'm even the type of person you should be asking for advice on Homestead because it's I try to say out of Homestead. I'm not saying don't invest in Homestead, okay? Because you can make money in Homestead, and there's good areas in Homestead. In fact, uh, Lars, who's not in here right now, just bought something real close to Homestead, and it's a good place. But I'm just saying, make sure you're asking the right people.
Okay. You said Lars had to invest in your homestead. You said there.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
either Homestead or
You're right. It was Homestead.
it is Homestead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't think of the secondary. It's sad. I was there and I can't remember where it was at.
It's weird. I when I search up homestead, there's like Homestead, and then there's like West Homestead, and then it's weird. Yeah, there's like it's like neighborhoods, and there's little neighborhoods inside that neighborhood too. Is that how
That
Pittsburgh kind of works?
that's how Pittsburgh works, just in general. Like there could be a big hill or something or a valley,
Yeah.
and instead of just adding to the town, they just made another town.
Okay. Quick question. I'm starting to notice like a lot of these Pittsburgh houses have like large steps upwards to the house. What if
Hmm.
what if these some of these steps are like kind of like broken and rubbled off? Is that something like that's like a big no-no for you that you're not gonna buy that place just because that might be a liability towards you? Or how would you go
It really
about that?
just depends on how bad they are. Like, I'll give you an example. Uh, Cynthia's aunt has one of those types of houses where it has like 30 some steps. But if that was like the only thing that was bad with the place, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be swayed differently. It's just you have to account accordingly based upon the price on having the steps redone.
Okay.
And then you're gonna have to decide on what you're gonna do. Like, are you gonna pay a mason to bust it up and redo concrete? Are you gonna do wood? Are you gonna do I'm forgetting the name of it. Go track. No, that's a scooter brand. But you get the idea. What material you're going to use and how you're going to make it as tenant proof as you possibly can. And honestly, like that's really the best way to handle it.
What would be your suggestion? Like if you were to how to redo the steps, like what route would you go?
I would
What,
contact the mason.
okay. Mason?
Yeah, I because that would be my first step. Contact the mason or a mason that does that kind of stuff, and have them give you a quote, and then budget for it accordingly.
Okay.
I I personally don't. A lot of people use the wood steps as like a shortcut, and they slap them in on top of the concrete ones, and it just looks bad. I think if you're going to do the wood, then do the wood or the correctly, and bust out the concrete because otherwise it just does it looks weird.
Yeah.
But
Wood on
and if
top
you're
of
if you're gonna bust up the concrete, then you might as well just pour new concrete,
okay, for sure.
and make sure
That's
you have concrete that's built harder for like the salt and stuff because it doesn't matter if you write in a lease, don't use the salt, blah 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 blah. They're gonna use the salt, and if it has too much sand and stuff, you're gonna run into situations where I've had where it just flakes and bubbles and pops and stuff.
okay, for sure. Yeah, I noticed a lot of homes out in Pittsburgh. Huge steps. Like I've never seen anything like that out where I live, right? I think it's because we are on prairie land, but yeah, no, it's Pittsburgh is quite different. There's hills and then there's hills to get to the house too. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of hills.
Yeah,
But no, I definitely take that into consideration. Yeah. I was kind of confused about what how to approach that situation, but okay, for sure.
Steven, do you have any properties yet currently?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so Pittsburgh is a little bit unique of I would say not unique in the sense of like any kind of like East Coast investing is going to be a little bit more difficult. So like Pittsburgh, like Philadelphia, like Boston, like all those cities that have been around for a while, you're getting into like older houses.
mhm.
So like there's still a lot of houses in Pittsburgh that have like cobblestone like foundations and stuff like that. So you just have like a lot of like water entries and just old building material. So like like plaster and lath and stuff like that, knob and tube. So like when it comes to budgeting, if you listen to like podcasts about like just investing in general, you've got to really delineate between people who invest West Coast and people who invest East Coast. They're two different, totally different styles of investing. Because on the East Coast, like uh, you're gonna have a higher rehab, 100%. And there's a lot of things you got to watch out for, that you don't necessarily have to watch out for, like on the West Coast. Like I know people that invest in Vegas and they hardly ever replace electrical or plumbing or anything like that. And I would say like if you don't scope your sewers, you're probably going to at some point run into like a $20,000 um like cost. Like because you'll eventually hit a problem with plumbing. It's just like a matter of time. So there's just things that you got to watch out for in Pittsburgh, that you don't necessarily need to watch out for in other places. So just get familiar with what could go wrong and what you should be looking for and some of the higher cost stuff when it comes to investing here. And then as long as you check those off the box, and then you can pretty confidently invest. But I would say get to know like what you're comfortable doing, what kind of rehab you want, and then when you know what you're looking for and that comes across your desk, you'll be able to say yeah quicker. So you'll be able to pull that trigger quicker, which is important in investing. If you can't pull the trigger on a good deal, because you're scared, you're probably gonna miss a couple of good deals because
Yeah.
good deals don't last long.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to notice. Like I've been kind of just looking on Zillow, saving a lot of these what I think is good priced homes, and some of them just last on the market for 4 days. But a quick question, Greg. When you say like make sure like you check the ones that are might cause you the biggest trouble, like sewage and whatnot. And what for Pittsburgh, what do you generally recommend? Like what is like the top list for you to check, like a checklist for a investor? Like the top ones, is it knob and tube? Is it plaster? Is it the sewage?
Foundation is number one for me. There's a lot of foundations in this area that are bad. Number two would be sewage. Because you're gonna run into a lot of problems with sewage, and that could be very, very expensive fix. And then I would say number three is yeah, condition of the walls, and electrical would be like that. Uh, when I go into a house that it's old floors, it's plaster. The plaster is kind of falling off the walls. Windows are old. Doors are old. Like you're getting into the full gut. When everything needs replaced, like what a lot of people don't realize is like when you got to replace windows with like plaster, like you have to replace that plaster around the window. It gets very, very expensive. So like if you're going into a house and it's got old windows you need to replace and it's plaster, like not only do you have to replace the windows, but you're gonna have to like pay for the plaster work. So there's just like a lot of hidden costs that you might not necessarily see. So I would say, yeah, just be careful on that. When you're looking at a house that needs new windows and it's definitely got plaster, because you have to rip into that plaster to replace that. So, that's what I don't know. You can get some good quotes on stuff, from some people, but like what I've seen a lot of people get burned on is change controls. So like somebody gives them a price and then somebody gives them a price and then the price changes. Kind of because of like, oh, we ran into this, we ran into that. And that kind of stuff happens in Pittsburgh a lot. It's like you open up the walls and then you find like, you know, the Yinzer that did it 20 years ago just spliced every piece of wiring behind the walls. Like, I would say I always find spliced wiring in the wall, buried in the wall every time I pretty much open up a wall. So like, yeah, it's a little bit different. And it definitely depends on the risk too of the investing. So just know your risk, know like, what you're willing to, get into if you want heavy, light, medium, And then yeah, once you like figure out your investing style, it's a lot easier to understand what you're looking for.
So in the inspection period, is like are inspectors allowed to just kind of come in with like a saw and like look through the wall and see what kind of wiring, or is that kind of like a gamble you kind of play with? Can you check that in the basement, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
typically like you're gonna want to check to see if it's grounded. If it's not grounded, then you can pretty much guarantee it's knob and tube or it's old cloth wiring.
Okay.
So like you would just go in, check to see if it's grounded. Now you can like kind of like cheat that. You can ground it to the actual box, but like typically if you a two-prong plug, if it's a two-prong plug, you can pretty much guarantee it's old wiring, like knob and tube or something like that. If it's a three-prong, you just plug in like a tester, and it'll tell you if it's grounded or not.
Okay, for sure. Sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, not a problem.
I'm gonna give a few shout outs to people that I saw watch join. Hey, Ratchet, Val, Flavio, Maxwell, Brad. How you guys all doing this week?
Doing well. No complaints here.
I'm good. How you doing, Jack? What's up, Val?
What's happening, man?
How you been?
Oh man, no complaints. I know you feel like I got probably bailed on you, bro. My last couple of Mondays has been stupid. You hear me?
Oh, no worries, man. No worries.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I heard the good news. Congrats.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate
Yep,
it.
yep. That's what it's all about.
How's your stuff going on?
Still going. Still
Oh,
going.
shit.
What
Shit.
yeah, still going. So
Oh yeah,
oh
Val, I was gonna ask you that. Last time I talked to you, you had a tenant trying to get evicted. That never went through.
the folk my attorney dropped the ball.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
Turner dropped the ball. So basically, we was ready, and so more or less, she missed the phone call, or they had the wrong number. So when the sheriff called to say, "Hey, we're doing the lockout in 5 days," uh, yeah, nobody got the call, and so then my attorney calls me and like, "Hey, they did the lockout today." I'm like, "How they do that with nobody there?" So she was like, "We got to get back on the schedule," and so it's a whole hot mess. So I called yesterday trying to get some information. So she said that she had called yesterday. So we're still waiting to get back on the next list. So it's like
Oh,
once we get on the list, then it'll be another 5 days.
so
So
the tenant still lives in the house then.
excuse me, said it again.
The tenant still lives in the house.
Yeah, it's an ugly story. So
I see.
long story short, it was a brother sister deal. The sister was the trustee, or however you say that. Basically, I guess brother was doing what he was supposed to do. Mom passed. He was taking care of mom. She sold the house from up under him. Well, she sold the house. She sold the house to a wholesaler. I bought it from the wholesaler, and they was like, "Hey, we got this house for sale, and but there's a guy in it. But we'll help you get him out." Well, that didn't happen. So end up, getting with the property management and trying to do all of this. Got the attorney. So a year and a half here later, here we are, still waiting to get in. So that's my story.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, I was wondering about the whole. Cause I never
Yeah,
got the story till just now. So
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
you bought the
yeah.
house wholesaler.
Yes, bought the house from a wholesaler. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So just
Well,
but that's just being eager to jump into another property, and Ricky mistake. Just don't buy nothing if somebody's in there, or you're gonna have to go in there with the dogs. Go
Yep.
in there with the
Yeah.
dogs and get them out. It's either that or you wait on the police or the law and try to do it the right thing. But it's almost like, how you see something unveiling before your very eyes, just like Chicago. I got a cousin in Chicago, but see, Chicago just passed, like, I think, squatters in your spot in Chicago. You
Yep.
got
Yep.
they got 48 hours. If they can't prove it, they got to go.
Okay.
And so Yeah, and I feel like just as soon as I get this dude out, then North Carolina will decide to get their head out of their hind end and make something happen. But till then, we still waiting, and I'm trying not to go to jail.
Okay, yeah, 'cause
So
you invest in Greensboro, correct? Is that what you told me?
yes,
Okay.
Greensboro. Yes, yes. I'm in Winston-Salem and Greensboro. Yes,
All right. Okay.
North
Perfect.
Carolina. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, cause that's right. Cause you're down in Fayetteville, correct?
Nope. So my sister lives in Salem, but I live down in Savannah now. We're
Savannah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm down
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you say you got a sister that lives in Greensboro?
Yep.
Okay.
She's been there for about 10 years, maybe. She's lived there, her and her family. So I'm up there.
Okay.
To check up on her. Yeah.
Okay. Small world. Small world. Small world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Quick question, Val.
Yes.
Do you know an artist named of J. Cole from North Carolina? Is he big name?
Oh yeah. He's Mr. He's one of the North Carolinians between him and the baby. Yeah, between him and the baby. Yeah, but he's from Fayetteville. That's what I was saying. That's a military base down there in North Carolina, out towards the east there. But yeah, that's where he's from.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say because I just grew up with him. I was like, I gotta go down to North Carolina one day and just go. He always has a concert going
Yes.
on. Forgot what it's called.
He just had it. Something fest. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, he just had it. Yeah, not too long ago. So it's kind of a big deal. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was just, I thought, yeah, no, J. Cole's my idol, man. He's a cool
Okay.
guy.
All right. Yeah. He
Hey Val, sorry to bother you. Question. So I am thinking about pulling the trigger on a property in Pittsburgh that has a tenant that has a word of mouth contract with this owner.
nope.
Would you say before I put an offer down, tell them to kick him out first, or what do you think?
If you're not buying it, you'd be interested in buying it, but you're not going to do anything unless they are out or you can get a contract signed. See, that's just kind of where I messed up. Like I said, just being rookie and just seeing a good deal, and running numbers and seeing a good deal, and I got ahead of myself, and so but yeah, either get a contract, nothing verbal, no, get a contract or they got to go. Yeah.
That's good to know. Yeah, because
yeah. Because what it does, man, it just protects you. It just protects you. And like I said, I know I'll have a story after all of this. I'll tell anybody, don't do it, or you're not doing anything until they're out, or it's like no deal, or get something in writing, or you have a new lease, and you're ready to go, and then they can stay. But just don't do no word of mouth, no sir.
Oh, nice. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
The other option you could do is you can hold money back on escrow. So if they say that they're going to be out by close or something like that, is you can just hold like say 20 grand back or something until the tenant is actually out, which kind of aligns what So like you can sign it and say like, hey, the tenant has to be out before I like purchase it, and then you just hold money back in escrow until they actually move out. So like you say you close and then they're still not out, you would just hold that money back, and then like you could have something in the contract that they're not out by X amount of days after close that you'd keep that money or whatever. So like that way, like that would protect you, and like the person that's going to be renting it is going to know if that tenant's an issue or not. So if you're like, hey, we're going to hold 20 grand back until they're out, in 30 days after close, if they're still not out, I get that 20 grand. If it's an issue, they're gonna be like, oh no, absolutely not. So yeah, don't ever do a word of mouth. What he was saying, don't ever do word of mouth. There was another investor, Steven, and I thought, I wasn't sure, he different investor, but like he reached out to me when he was like down in Florida, and he had a tenant that was like passed on their lease or whatnot, and he said something. I was like, no, you need to like file the eviction right now. And he was like, well, they said that, they'll leave by the end of the month. tenants, especially tenants that like are professional squatters is the technical term. They know how to get around stuff. Like so, like yeah, don't ever take word of mouth ever.
Yeah, that is great.
Like that term, Greg, professional squatters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it a little bit more often West Coast. Like in a lot of like the more liberal cities of like, you know, the Californias that are very, very tenant friendly. PA would be kind of fall. We're a purple state, so like, you know, I would say we fall more to be tenant friendly in a sense, but we're not so tenant friendly where somebody can live for free for like a year. But it takes about like an out, depending on the court systems and whatnot. You know, especially if they're like living there like past their lease or whatnot. So we're definitely not where like some of the, I would say, more red states that are super landlord friendly, that as soon as the lease expires you can like kick them out. But we're definitely not like California. We're definitely like middle of the road when it comes to that stuff.
Hey, Ratchet, how's it going?
Good. My buy box is a little different from these conversations. My approach is always on the new construction townhomes. By the way, I connected with Michael Zuber
Hmm.
on last Sunday. Mark was on the call as well. I think some of us. I discussed my buy box with him. A lot of good coaching. I think one of the coaching he gave me was because the markets are a little buyer friendly, so focus on taking more discounts or more incentives from builders. So I've been doing that, and I've not signed up anything, but at least I can tell you that the builders are really hungry to sell right now. One of them came back today itself, said 15K down if you buy this weekend. The another one is coming with around 12,500 more on closing costs or anything I want to do with that. So I'm working on it. Waiting for the month end to come where the pain starts for salespeople more because they have committed the numbers. I'm expecting some good deal. I think they have come back. Let me give you an idea. They have come down from 340 to 310 right now in the last 5 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I think it could be one of the most economical new construction townhome right now if I click the deal. I'm still waiting for a little more if I can get more in
Can you buy
Michael's
two, get
work.
one free?
Get more flesh out of it.
Sir?
Sorry.
Oh, Ratchet, where are you trying to purchase?
So, Sarah, I have till date, I have been investing in Cranberry Township, but I'm trying to move a little out now. Cranberry is very expensive.
What
It's
state?
it's in Pittsburgh, only 16066 zip
Oh,
code. It's north of Pittsburgh, and I'm now talking about Moon Township, Propolis, that area, new construction townhomes in that, or a little bit close to Monroeville. But my buy box is to buy new construction, or I think I got little coaching from Michael, maybe anything which I've built in last 5 years is also called new. So, but the interesting thing is, Sarah, when I go to the market, the buyer who has bought it, he has invested some money in blinds or something else, installed some other things in the house. He wants to take out 7% for the real estate agent from me. Ultimately, they are trying to sell higher than the new construction houses. So I've not seen any value in buying houses which are 4 year old or 5 year old. But in the next few days or weeks, I think I'm seeing inventory is holding up a little more longer. So there could be some more opportunities. So, Jack, this is what I'm working on right now. I have intent to buy 2 more townhomes this year. Take my inventory to 6. I'm right now at 4, and let's see how the market goes. I'm a little scared also because I keep listening to these podcasts. Market is drowning. Something is going to happen. So Going back to who knows, somebody's saying like, take my townhome free. I just want to get rid of it. Who knows what the situation will come that.
Have you thought about looking in Robinson too? Because there's a lot of higher end homes in Robinson also.
Jack, I went, interestingly, I searched the new construction homes on Zillow.
Mhm.
There are not much project going on. And that gives me a little indication. As a country, we are not building too many new homes.
Right.
Because if I see like a couple of projects are going on in Cranberry and Pittsburgh region, I'm talking about. Sorry, I'm not looking at like maybe there are tons of projects in Texas. I don't know. I'm not looking at those. At least in Pittsburgh area, there are not more than 5 to 10 projects going on, and none of them are in affordable range. Most of them are making single family homes, $500,000 and more. Sorry, you were saying something?
Oh no, Val was just saying he was leaving. So I was just saying bye.
Yeah. Maybe if I'm
You're
missing
good.
anything, just let me know that my information is limited. I look at Zillow and like all the online information. Typically, it's easier to find new construction builders easily because they market themselves a lot. So maybe this is another parameter we all can look at. There are not too many homes coming up in the market, new ones. So it will be
You're
all
not wrong.
inventory circulating. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because in Akron, they've abandoned a lot of new sites, even though it's one of the hottest markets in the country right now. They're just saying it's not worth doing new builds.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed, Jack, is that Cranberry Township also, I don't see any new projects starting soon. I've checked their website as well. Builders are moving towards more Harmony and Zelenopol,
Mhm.
towards Butler more, correct? And that could be the future. Maybe I don't know, but at least when I see the Cranberry Township, it's super unaffordable. You will not believe that 2 bedroom house, $500,000. I don't know. I feel it's California or what. And who is buying that? I don't know.
I would say there's plenty of new builds going in, maybe none that would fit your buy box criteria. I
Mhm.
mean, because Ryan Holmes, DR Horton, because DR Horton's here now too. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
they're
talking to them.
they're
I'm talking to
throwing
them.
up homes
Yeah.
everywhere.
So, Greg,
Um,
very good point. Ryan and Heartland Homes. Interestingly, I have bought 2 of them from them. They are not selling to investors right now for some reason. Maybe I don't know if they have gone to banks or government grants that they will only sell to primary homeowners initially more as much as possible. Something has happened. I called them. I'm ready to buy cash. They are still saying, no, we are not selling. We will only sell to primary homeowners, especially Ryan Homes. I called Zelenopol. No, they will not sell it. I called in Moon Township. There is a project there. I forgot the name. It's pretty good community actually. Uh, Marketplace, Heartland Marketplace, and they are not selling there as well. They have townhome, but they will not sell it to investors. So when you come down here, then only Miranda Homes and DR Hortons remain for you to buy as
so
an
when
investor.
you say you're buying cash and they won't sell to investors, are you trying to get like a steep discount? Like, or are you just trying to buy it at what they're selling it for?
First question is, are you willing to sell it? I'm an investor. I want to buy. They say, sorry, we don't sell it to investors.
Right. Yeah, Greg, I can answer on that. The issue is that Ryan Homes is that they're notorious for being very cheaply built. And so what they have is a lot of water main breaks in their neighborhoods. And usually, so people, especially investors, if they have more properties, they have more say. But if you separate it out, and this happens a lot all in Northern Virginia all the time, is that they will basically kick the can down for saying, hey, the water main broke. Even though we built it, it's your property, it's your fault, it's your warranty. And they'll kick the can past the warranty and say, well, I guess it's your problem now. That is just classic Ryan Holmes.
Yeah, I guess what I was saying is like, there's no reason you have to disclose that you're an investor. So that's what I was gonna like get at. Like, if their price is good for your investing style, I wouldn't even bring up that you're an investor. Just buy the house if you're buying cash.
Greg, I was gonna ask him though, but if he's having an LLC or something by it, he wouldn't have a choice. So,
We'll see, correct? So
you're not occupying, because I bought all of this for us too, like the years that we've been doing it, but we always owner occupied. So I bought like a low end new build every time the Army moved us. We did instead. but I didn't have to say, hey, I'm an investor because that owner occupied first and it wasn't in an LLC.
Very good point.
Yeah,
In
I mean
fact,
that makes sense. I just have a hard time believing that they could turn down a contract.
Yeah, they are right now. And Greg, I can tell you the biggest problem I've seen is my attorney has told me I always take in writing that I will be grandfathered in. A lot of communities in Cranberry Township has now, HOA has passed the, I would say, I would not use the word bill or the law, where they say no more tenants in the community. Whatever is happening after that's no more. And what happens to us? So I take in writing in a contract that even if the HOA passes the bylaws, I will still have ability to rent it out because I don't want nobody buys it from me then because they know he has to sell it. So there is some things I take care while buying it. I don't want to take a risk that I buy by telling primary homeowner and then HOA tells me you can't rent it because that's not allowed. So you are stuck with now 300, 400,000 property, nothing to do with it. I think the Greg froze again, I guess. But market is moving. I think main message I wanted to give was that there are few builders who are not selling to investors. Few are ready to sell. It's not selling easily. Are you seeing anything, any one of you in Pittsburgh resale as well? Prices breaking down, or it's still the same? Any signs of that?
I'm not seeing so much of that, but what I am seeing is that what I'm starting to see is that there's more houses on the market. So
Yeah.
give me 1 second. I can show you guys what I'm talking about.
While Jack brings that up, I have at least seen that week by week people are cutting their prices down. I feel it could be just emotional panic because all of us watch a lot of YouTube, maybe because of that. But I do see that people are reducing their prices not by 1K, 2K, 5K, 10K, 15K just to get rid of real estate right now. So there could be some good opportunities for buyers.
If there's, I know like where I'm at in the area, which is all the sun right now, it's cheaper to buy a new build home if you're getting it financed than it is to buy a home that someone's already living in, just because the fact that they can do the rate buy downs or whatever. And so I know like, but before that happened, what you would see was what Jack's talking about, like the inventory just began to increase. And then like in the Sun Belt, we're the largest producer of homes in the whole country. So there's always an ample supply of homes here in the South, which is why home values never actually go up. So like in the Sun Belt, only during hard economic times do you see home values increase. So you normally don't earn money through appreciation in the Sun Belt. You earn it through the mortgage pay down, just through the equity that's built from your tenants paying them down. And then what you do have here is because everyone has pretty steady, manufacturing trades types of jobs, you'll have like a 1 to 3% increase in rent every year, year over year. But the values only inflate during like the GFC and then of course COVID now. In my lifetime, that's the history that I can see. I'm 42. And so I just think that some certain areas, depending on what type of work that they have there, that's kind of how you'll know whether or not the prices are going to hold, is like, do local incomes here support these inflated home values? Because it truly is it's pretend equity, just because the fact that we printed so much stuff during COVID, so much money during COVID.
I think I agree. In some of the areas now, I'm seeing suddenly, which Cranberry Township as an example. When I came to Pittsburgh in 2015, Cranberry was cheaper than Wexford. Like it's a next neighboring county, and suddenly Wexford may not have gone that much. Cranberry is almost past Wexford right now. So it's some kind of a bullish nature, which is beyond. I feel that at some point buyers will not be there because if you have a 3 bedroom at 650, 3 bedroom townhome, it's like a California price, at least not maybe close to that in Pittsburgh, which is very expensive.
And do the incomes that people make, like where they work at in that area, do those incomes can their incomes, household income, stay like the median home price?
See, people are buying. There is no inventory on that. I'm surprised who's buying that. But there are companies there are more investments coming here. I do see a lot of new malls coming here. Westinghouse is in Cranberry. Westinghouse, a nuclear corporation which builds nuclear plants, has a headquarter in Cranberry Township. There is one of the other thing of Cranberry Township is Pittsburgh is more hilly area. It's up and down, but Cranberry is flat. So like it's like Pittsburgh people want to live in Pittsburgh, do not want the nuance of hilly area, they can come to Cranberry Township or these areas, neighboring areas. I think that could be another reason. Lot of malls in 3 miles area. You have hospitals, you have Walmart, you have Costco, you have everything what you need in your life in 3 miles area. So maybe that's the reason it's pretty expensive here.
Okay. Do you know what the median household income is in the area?
I don't have that data. I
Okay.
can check that, but I can say that it's pretty decent because I'm seeing that I'm getting rents very good, Sarah. Like my townhomes have not stayed more than 2 to 3 weeks, and I've been charging 3,000 plus rents in some areas. So it's going very fast.
Okay. So that's what I always looked at, was like what the median household income is in the area, and then I would buy new build houses would put me like below that. So I was telling someone at the convention that I only ever had like maybe I don't think I've ever had more than 2 weeks ever without a tenant in any of my properties, and I've been buying for almost 20 years. My first one was an old foreclosure that I had years ago, but I've done it 6 times, and then I've held 4. But I've never had a vacancy more than 2 weeks long ever.
That's impressive.
I'm sorry,
That's
sir. Mr. Greg, you said something?
I said that's impressive.
That's impressive. Actually.
Yeah, I'm, knock on wood, I've been very blessed. I've never had to do an eviction either. So
Yeah, I would say Cranberry Township, so like Cranberry, Robinson, Canonsburg, like Cranberry would be like a higher end I would say. There's a lot of there's definitely a lot of nicer homes in Cranberry, people building up there. Like what he said, it's basically has become an extension of Wexford. People just kind of, as Pittsburgh gets bigger, people kind of just keep going out, and Cranberry is like one, I would say probably like the furthest that I still consider like Pittsburgh. Because you can still get to Pittsburgh in like it's probably like 25-30 minutes. But yeah, I mean Cranberry, I would say a lot of people have decent, but you have an eclectic mix too. I mean, you have some pretty crap houses in Cranberry of people that have lived there for a while. But yeah, your new builds, new people moving there, definitely I would say are more well-to-do. When it comes to the suburbs, I'm a little bit better on the suburbs than I am like intricate in the city. I mean, because I like investing in suburbs a little bit better. I feel like you get tenants, a little bit better tenants and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh is a lot of people are moving to Pittsburgh because of affordability, which obviously is starting to go away the more and more people that come here. But yeah, I would say Cranberry is very good
Yeah,
investment.
I find Moon Township is still very good, affordable with good quality homes you can get, and I think close to the airport, still a very good 15-20 minutes away from airport. And Pittsburgh is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to downtown. I think it's pretty decent place I'm exploring to invest in. Moon Township, Acropolis.
Yeah, Moon's good. Moon's good. They're building a lot up there. Moon Township it's getting quite a bit up there. Like they're building that up a lot. It more so than I thought because I just drove up there. But yeah, any suburb around Pittsburgh really is good. There's really not a bad suburb per se, in my opinion.
Just a question for you. If I have a requirement in a new townhome to build a quick deck or small patios, is this something that would you do, or I should work with someone else on that. Maybe we lost Greg.
I mean, you say quick deck. What do you mean by quick deck? Is that like, do you want like something up in a day, or are you just saying you just want wood? Like,
So
yeah,
I
just
can
kind of
explain that
elaborate
scenario.
when you say that.
Yeah, I can explain that. So in a new construction home, one of the builder is saying that they will give a door, but not build a sitting space outside. So they will block the door just and give it to me.
Yeah.
I've seen that with
Yeah, pretty
families.
typical.
Yeah, either a cantilever or there is a small deck like 4x10 or 8x10 deck out a little bit so that they can sit with family, can sit, have tea or coffee and talk, and that helps always. So when I say quick means like maybe I let you know notice that this will be delivered in 2 months, and after that when it's delivered in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, can you just quickly build a deck? But you will have a notice way ahead of time. My first question was, do you do this work? That's the first thing.
No. Yeah. I do. I can pretty much, like I said, I can pretty much do anything. You know, at the end of the day, a lot of what I'm limited to is what someone's budget is. So as long as we can meet budget, I can pretty much do anything.
I might connect with you soon.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, I work on new builds a lot because Ryan Homes sucks. So I'm in Ryan Homes houses a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I may not have an option from Ryan Home, but maybe DR Horton or Miranda Homes. But
Yeah,
they might be work.
all those track house builders, all their stuff is somewhat junk. Like it's gotten worse. Like because the one I bought during COVID, I think I've had more problems with like little. I mean, it's not major stuff, but I've had more problems with that. Like stupid stuff like the AC's leaking something, or the water heater's leaking. Like it's just ridiculous stuff. Like I forgot to put a O-ring on something or whatever.
Yeah, I think in my buy box, I do not intend to keep these 30 years. I intend to keep them for a decade, and 10 years is a long time. I think these properties do hold at least 10 years. I know that. After that, it will be new buyer's problem, not mine.
Gotcha. Why, and Mr. Ratchet, why do you plan on doing that? Just the 10 years?
Okay. So my thought process is because I work on W2, it's a full-time job. It's pretty, I'm into IT sales with one of the IT companies. I want to keep doing some work. I do not want to increase maintenance work for me. That's my main goal. If I buy a new property, typically the maintenance would be very low for the first decade.
Yep.
Either some kind of a warranty is there. By that time, the structural warranties are about to end, and I can have a good equity by that time. I will swap it and buy another one at that time, if possible, somewhere new.
Okay.
So I've not sold anything till date. I've only bought because I've not been in market for 10 years. But that's my, I would say, high level plan, strategic plan, that I will buy new properties as much as possible, keep it for 10 years, less maintenance, manage through property management company, don't spend time, always focus on growth.
Yep. So
And
that's the same with, mine is similar. I had never thought about selling. So for me, I didn't need cash flow either. Like it's not why we invested. So my husband and I were military. I'm retired from the Army. He's still in the Army. And so what we did is, like I said, is we went and bought a new build. I looked at what's a new build that's below, like to where the payment would be below like the average like household income for that area, for them to be able to pay me rent after we moved out. But my whole goal was actually to pay my houses off, to couple my income with the tenant's income to make double payments just to get them paid off. And then so for me, like, and then I didn't want to have a bunch either. Like some people are like, well, why don't you have more? Because we have a really high income, household income. But I'm like, I'm not interested in having. I don't think I'd ever have any more than 10 houses if I'd even go there, because I only need. I mean, I've got 4 right now that would make me 10 grand a month, and I don't need all that because I've got a military retirement. My husband's got a military retirement, and so to me, I didn't want to create a whole nother job for me. Like I wanted to still be able to be a wife and a mother, and then retired from the Army, and then still take care of my family while just managing my property managers from my cell phone is all that I do. And so it's just kind of worked, but I never thought about that strategy to trade, just dump the equity every, another and went to another new build 10 years later. But it's definitely saved us a lot of headaches from repairs because we only bought new builds. And so by 10 years, I've got so much equity in them, but I just decided to go ahead and just pay off the last of the mortgages and then just keep them or whatever. So I may, later on trade them for something else or an apartment building or something like that. But I just wanted to get rid of the payment and just use, again, 2 payments a month. So that I just basically invested in our 401k and double mortgage payments, if that makes sense. And then it just put us in a good equity position, a good household income position as well. So that's pretty cool.
I don't know because as 10 years has not happened, this is a thought process. But assumption is, Sarah, when 10 years happen, if I have a new property at that time again, I will still get good tenants. Like when I say my definition of good tenant is high credit rating, they are W2 people, they want to stay in those houses for some time, they might buy their own. They typically don't try to damage properties. They live at homes like they are living at their home. So that's the thought process. But as we grow more in this business, you have a lot of experience. I've not spent that much yet. I have total been like 4 or 5 years, and I would say full-fledged last 2 years.
Okay.
So it might change, but this is a thought process as of today.
Yep, I got you. Okay, that's awesome. That's cool.
Of course, when you buy this, liquidity is a big problem. Capital is not easily available for new townhomes. The down payments are higher. I was talking to one of the company right now for finance. They want more and more down payment.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why we own or occupied ours, because I know my very first I was gonna buy years ago. God, I was like 20. I bought my first out of a foreclosure when I was 22, and then I was gonna buy again like a year later, and that's when I began learning about the mortgages. And they're like, "Oh, because you're gonna be an investor," because I was living in Germany at the time, and they're like, "We're gonna need 30% down from you," and I'm like, no, thanks. Like, unless you're showing that you're moving back to the States, we won't do it for you. And so I was like, okay, so I let this one go to auction and then just like bid on it at auction and lost the bid or whatever. So it was another foreclosure. So yeah, you definitely get chewed up on the down payments and different costs or whatever when you're not going to own or occupy.
I'm not that lucky. One of investors I know, one of the realtor was able to get them a deal either with LG or Samsung. I don't know which company is there. They have some work in Pittsburgh area, and some of their employees were coming from South Korea. And the company was ready to pay 3 years of rent advance, just new construction if it is there. I said 3 years of rent. I don't even need a down payment is paid right now. Correct, 3,000 a month for 3 years. It was like almost 100 grand. They gave them advance,
Yep.
locked the 3 townhomes for 3 years. But I'm
Yeah,
not the one.
yeah,
Yeah.
my house that I own or occupy right now, a couple of years, 2 years ago, I thought we had to move to Washington, D.C. And so I was just going to rent out my primary residence. And so we have in the Savannah, Georgia area, there's a huge increase of Koreans because they built the Hyundai electrical car plant here just outside of Savannah. And it was the same thing for me. I couldn't believe what I was going to get for rent for my primary residence, but it was also going to be to an executive from Hyundai, a Korean executive. And same thing, like they wanted to prepay for the lease for my house for like 3 years. But then I ended up saying no because we ended up staying in Savannah. We ended up not having to go to DC. And so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sit here and stay. But yeah, they have a pretty cool program. So we have a huge influx of Koreans in the Savannah area. I mean, all different kinds of industries, which is why they were slated to build a lot of houses even before COVID. So there's, all that supply is still coming online here, which is causing home prices to actually decrease now. But and they take pretty good care of the houses as well. The people that have been here from working from Korea, they're real good with the homes. So it's a pretty good deal.
Just a second. Someone is at the door for a second.
Must be that's that scooter guy again.
Yeah, Jack, I saw your message. You had someone harassing you at the door.
Yeah, he kept knocking and ringing the doorbell. I thought if I just muted the camera for a minute and just and just wait him out. He'd go away, but after the third round, I answered the door, and he's like, "Hey, man," and I was like, I was like, I ain't got time for your bullshit. Whatever you're selling, I don't want. And I shut the door.
Gosh. Oh man. No, I'm in the car, so whatever. I had a long drive still.
I had a very just a conversation, a very unique experience in the sense that I have a Berkshire Hathaway as a property management company, and they have a very strict criteria who can get into the house. Sometimes they reject like five of the applications immediately because they need credit and all those kind of things. So they came back to me at this time that this engineer is from South Korea, and he's saying his company is going to invest, I think, $1.5 billion in Pennsylvania area somewhere, a construction company, and they have been deputed from South Korea to here in Pittsburgh area for 3 years. So they cannot do the background check. So Berkshire was about to reject as a tenant. So I said, "Oh, stop," because then we can never give homes to people who are coming on some business trips or for work here. So finally, the South Korean employees company gave a written that they are taking guarantee for a rent up to $3,500 per month. Although I was giving at low, I said, "Oh my God, I should have asked for more money." But now they are signing up for that anything beyond $3,500 employee will pay. They are taking guarantee for the rents, so I have less risk from a standpoint that there will not be payment coming for next 1 year. And my property manager confirmed the person says if he likes the area, will stay here for 3 years. So I have a less problem now to find new tenant. It's a good rent, continued for 3 years. I think sometimes it works out if you have a great company, they're looking for employees to have good homes nearby. I'm trying to find more if I can have some agreement with these companies. Call me if your employees are coming. I would rather give home directly to them rather than going in the market. I think Jack, you were trying to. Sorry, we are talking for long, but you wanted to show something
Oh,
on
yeah.
Zillow, yeah, inventories thing.
You know what? It's not coming up now.
So what did you want to show, Jack?
I just want to show you kind of like the buy box or one of the buy boxes I look at, but for some reason the internet share won't come up, but everything else, including Adobe Photoshop, that's not even open as an option. But I want to show you over the past couple of weeks, it's almost doubled in the amount of multi units that are in that area. I think 2 weeks ago, a number of them sold real fast. There's only like 6 left, but the week before it was roughly about 12 or so, and now there's like close to 20 on the market again. So
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's part of the whole like the whole thing, or if it's just like a turn of the houses more or less. Like maybe some of the listings expired and are coming back. But
What I have done is in Zillow, I used to say which are the newest ones, sort by that.
mhm.
I've changed it the other way around. I want to see the oldest ones. I can negotiate more there if I have to buy in anyway. So
That's a
because
good
if
idea. I
somebody's
never thought
stuck,
of that.
yeah, that they will be. I saw one multifamily, I don't know, was sitting there for 9 months now. Somebody looks like wanted to flip. They have been reducing their price. They already reduced by $60,000. They are at 190 now. They started at 260. So those kind of properties are there in the market. One more thing I have a question for you and Mark actually. We were discussing about having mid-year connect for some of us if we can meet at some location. Do you have an idea
Yeah,
what you are thinking? What could be possibility? I like that idea, by the way, because meeting in person is much more valuable if possible.
I think we're shooting right now, and we're kind of waiting to hear about Mikey when he's coming to Pittsburgh. But I think it sounds like it's going to be either the first or the second week of September.
And I think the city is not locked yet. I saw your suggestion to be Pittsburgh to be the first.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I was talking to Jared. Jared said he'd come out. I meant to tag Sarah, but Sarah's here. So hey, Sarah, you coming to Pittsburgh now?
Heck no, I'm staying down here in my nice warm weather.
It's a
Pittsburgh,
temporary.
Uh,
It's nice out still.
yeah.
oh,
Pittsburgh is also warm for next few months.
Keith might come visit y'all from New York though.
Where in New York is he? He's
He'll be in upstate New York in at the Canadian border up there at Fort Drum. It's like maybe
oh
it's
okay.
about miles from Syracuse.
Okay, so it's not so he's closer to Pittsburgh than I thought. It's not like NYC.
That's what I'm saying. He can come take a visit with you guys on my behalf. I'll stay down here in this nice, warm, sunny weather.
Do you bribe him with anything Disney that he likes? Or
Oh gosh. Wait, Mr. Ratchet, did you come to the conference in Vegas or no?
Oh, I just joined 1 month back, so I
Oh,
did
you
not
gotta
come
come.
back.
You gotta come. You gotta come.
Yeah, that's why I'm more excited to meet everybody in person if
Yeah,
possible.
if you think like the meetups, like you would really enjoy. I actually might not be able to come this February because I may try to go to Peru for a wedding of a guy I was in the army with. It just depends. And then my husband, he's got to do something with his job. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's awesome. That's how all of us met actually. Like Jack, Mark, which we for like probably I know Mark, I know Trade Better, a couple other guys. There's been a few of us that have talked on the daily financial news. We've like messaged each other. I know for me, like 4 or 5 years. And so it was weird with me coming because I was trying to figure out everyone's real name. And then I spoke at the conference this year or whatever, but I'm like, okay, I know your guys' handle. So I'm like, what's your real name? Like, what's your real name? So I have had to like go back through my phone and put everyone's real name in with their handle from YouTube or whatever. And so, but it was awesome. Like all of us, it was really awesome. Like I got to get to know Harrison, who's Trade Better like him, and what he's gone through. And then of course all of us, like Mark. I think Mark and I had been messaging for the last 3 or whatever years, even on YouTube. So that was cool to like meet everyone in person. It was really neat. And then we went and we hung out and did different activities together outside of the conference or whatever. So it was really powerful, very encouraging for everyone I think involved that was there. We kind of helped lift each other up, and then I tell them all the time, you men have a huge risk tolerance. I don't have that big of a risk tolerance, so they're always like motivating me to like, yeah, like go get you a commercial building because that's kind of been my struggle. Like, should I invest more? Because I don't really need to, but then I'm like, I might as well. I'm only 42, so I might as well just have some fun or something. But when I watch them like with the risks that they take, it like encourages me because they're not afraid like I am sometimes. I'm like, no, I prefer my little calculated risk that's not, too much. And then like when I see them with their little messages, I'm like, okay, I think I could actually do this. Kind of like, all right, Sarah, just jump off the bridge. Like you got this. You have a parachute. So it's awesome. You'll really enjoy it. You really enjoy it.
Looking forward to it. Yeah. A lot of great people here. A lot to learn.
For sure.
I kind of knew, Sarah, that you were going to be presenting before Zuber, even before we got to the event,
Oh,
because
really?
I was messaging Zuber and I sent him a message. I was like, because I couldn't remember your name at the time because we didn't meet yet, and
Yep.
I sent him a message. I was like, you need to have that army lady back on and talk at your event. And being that he said more than 3 words as a response, I was like, oh, she's talking.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, he did. He emailed me, and like I said, I just been kind of trucking along, and like I always tell you guys, Jack, that's my whole thing is like you really don't need a whole ton. Like you can just do a little bit. It just depends again on your risk tolerance, your strategy, or whatever. But my whole goal was just to have additional money in retirement for Keith and I because we wanted those military benefits. So we wanted to do the full retirement from the military so that we would never have health care costs as we got older, right? So we don't have that, right? We don't have to pay for any of that stuff because we served. And then there's so many other benefits that we have as veterans or whatever it might be. Like I don't have to pay property taxes on my primary residence. Like there's just so many different things. And so for me, I'm like, okay, if we just get, like 5 houses or whatever, on this journey and then just pay them off. Like don't buy below our means, make double mortgage payments or whatever. We should be all the way done by the time we both retire from the Army. And so he's like, all right, what else would we spend our money on? Just a bunch of retarded stuff, right? And so we just chose to keep living below our means. And then, by the time he gets out, he'll be, he could get out now if he wanted. He's 40, I'm 42. And so it's like, we could live our best life with homes that are paid for. And then now I'm actually just wanting to work on our primary. So I'm like, all right, if you give me 6 more years, I'll be done with that. And then if we want to buy something or build something later, we can. We have, we'll have all the equity to do that or whatever. So yeah. So where'd Harrison go? Him and Mark.
Oh, I'm here. I was laughing hard. No, it's like, no, I agree. It's like, I mean, it's a good way to think about it. That's what we're doing. It's like, I'm planning on working until 65 and just use listening as the retirement.
Yeah, that's Keith, because Keith's dad is 70, it's almost 71, and he still works. It's like, what else would I be doing? I got money for my grandkids or whatever. And so that was what Keith told me, because we had watched some things like 5 years ago on the whole fire thing. And Keith's like, I don't think I could ever just sit around here. And then like I look at our 6-year-old and he never could sit down. Like the 6-year-old, Keith has his energy. And so he's like, why would I, especially like, where he's at in the military, why would I leave when I have this type of pay that I'm getting? And like, I'm not having to do as much crazy stuff as when I was a younger soldier or whatever. And so I'm like, all right, we can keep trucking along or whatever. And so my whole thing is like, we've just been, I think sometimes we dumped too much of our money toward real estate. Cause he's like, we could just go somewhere else. You don't have to make 5 extra mortgage payments. Like we could actually take a nicer vacation. And I'm like, oh, because I've gotten so used to like, that's just what we do, that I forget that I've always had all those levers to like pull. And so he's like, it's fine to just, let that last 40 grand on that house just run itself out as normal. It'll still be done in 4 years. And I'm like, no, I need to get it done in 2. And he's like, why? Like it's, and so he helps kind of balance me sometimes with that or whatever. And then he's like, I can stay in the Army like all the way for another 15 years if I wanted to. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, and so like I said, why would we get out and try to figure all that stuff out? But, but we just have a lot of options. So having those options works. And then, like I said, most people struggle whenever they retire because they have a huge loss of income. But for us, because I never planned for our rental income to be needed now, like I never planned for that now. Like whenever he retires, we'd still keep making all the same money we've been making our whole lives. And so that's just kind of been my strategy. I was like, but some people that they don't want to work at all during these years and they just want to be, be free from having to have a 9 to 5, then that works for them too. So they're going to have 100 doors. That's right. And I think I told you guys when Kenny McElroy, when he did the little mentorship with me and I was emailing with him and then I talked on like his live, whatever. And he told me, he's like, Sarah, it wouldn't like if you have 10 paid for single family homes, it's the same money you'd make with the cash flow from 300 units. After you pay all the people you've got to pay with 300 units. And I'm like, ooh, so I did the math right. So I'm like, all right, Keith, we'll just keep trucking along. So yeah, so it just, it depends on what your goals are. And that's what I think too. That's what I was telling you before. Like, I think it's one of the reasons why I never got involved with like a lot of female investors. Cause like, I don't like to compare, and men, we just kind of challenge, they challenge each other more. And so for me, I'm like, there's enough houses, there's enough money in America for everyone to be successful. Like, we don't have to compare ourselves and say, oh, I wish, like, some say even one thing, when I met Jack, like when I started doing lives with Jack, I started getting depressed because I was like, oh, I wish I knew how to do handyman work like him. Like, literally, it made me sad. Like, it made me sad. And I was telling Keith, I was like, Jack knows how to do all this. Like, he was showing me, like, carpet on the thing. And I'm like, I have to pay people for that every time. I'm so well, but he has also have to front the money either, right? Well, so like he's saying like the trade-off, like I get write-offs And I'm like, yeah, but Jack doesn't have to front that money. You know what I mean? And so, which helps he's, income from the Army, we're able to write off, pretty much everything against his W-2 income. So, we break even, we don't have to pay taxes or whatever. So that works for us. But I'm like, no, there's like 100 ways to do investing. That's why even with you, Ratchet, I thought that's neat because I thought I was the only crazy person that had that same strategy with new builds. So I would question that before I found everyone from ORAT. I would question that over the years, like maybe I should do forced equity, maybe I should do whatever. But our lifestyle in the military has never really allowed me to do that because the fact that every 30 months we have to move again. You know what I mean? So it's been really cool to me to have everyone to see all their different ways that they do it because there's like a million ways to become a millionaire. Like truly, there really are. And so if people would think that it's not just one way, and I will say one way is not really the W-2 way. You've got to have something more to add to that to accomplish that. But it's possible, and it doesn't matter, what age you are, whatever, like which mistakes you've made in the past, you've learned so much, even from those mistakes. So it's cool. That's all.
Yes. No, I think your strategy and thinking is pretty aligned what I'm thinking as well. I personally do not feel retirement means do nothing. My definition of retirement is do what you like. Because
Yeah.
somebody asked me, what do you like? I don't know, because as soon as I start thinking what I like, I'm not able to pay my utility bill. So first let me get out of this. The money is coming at home if I'm not doing, then I can tell you what I like. Because my brain doesn't work right now to think what I like. So maybe
Right. That's
it's not financial freedom, it's actually the freedom as a human being that I can start thinking, maybe I don't know what I like. Maybe I like going on stages and presenting. Maybe I like making YouTube videos. I really don't know. Because right now, if I leave it for 5 minutes, I will be scared, like how I may pay my bill. I cannot leave my job right now for 5 minutes. So
right.
that's the problem.
No,
But I think in the next 5 to 7 years, when I feel exactly 10 is my when we meet, I will show you how AI agent Grok, I used it, and ChatGPT gave in my all the inputs, and it built a plan that I want by 2030. This thing, it made it full plan, which was very much similar to what I was thinking.
okay,
But
cool.
very different.
Awesome.
But I have to join another call for my W-2, but
Okay.
keep paying the bills. But it was a very good one. I like it. I look forward, Jack, if some way we can meet all of us. I'm all in. Any location, anytime, which you plan, I will be
All
there.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Nice meeting you, sir. Have a good one.
Same here. Thank you. Bye.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. I think Mark ditched out on us. He's in trouble.
Mark likes to lurk. He'll come out. So
I had a question for Mark, but he hasn't been talking too much, so
I'm gonna text him and tell him to get on here now.
yeah. Oh. Yeah, so I guess it's like I guess update. So Jack sent me a property that looks really interesting. Jeremy's our realtors looked at it. It looked great. One part that scared me was the tenant, and Jack was like, "Yeah, get him out." I was like, "But when do we get him out?" So I guess I'm about to pull the triggers today with Jeremy. Once Mrs. agrees with it, but it's one of those. Yeah, I guess that's one of the things. Should I tell Jeremy saying, "Hey, until that person's gone, I'm not putting an offer," or because Greg, I like your idea of just putting it in escrow because I mean, so like, hey, once the person's gone, then you get. So.
Wait, so Harrison, is that one in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it's in Pittsburgh. It's in Butler.
Okay.
So
Right.
yeah,
It's
it's
in
one of those
Akron.
things. Yeah, Akron.
It's in Akron.
There he is.
Get out of Pittsburgh. No.
Oh, that's Mark. I decided to get back on.
Yeah.
Right. I saw Sarah message me. Man, it's summer. There's no summer school. That's why right now.
Oh, okay.
We're heading to see Karate Kid soon.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah, he's all into Cobra Kai now.
Wait, Wait, where are you at? On what side of the island are you on?
Towards Hanama Bayside, Hawaii Kai.
Okay, what theater are you going to?
Kahala Mall. They don't have one in Hawaii Kai anymore. That one closed down.
Oh, okay, we used to like going to the one out in Kapolei, Keith and I.
Yeah, that's like the other side of the island.
Yeah, it's
Nah,
way too far.
nah, it's nice over there. Yeah, but that's I'll probably be out.
Oh, we're losing you.
You know what? I think we're probably going to end up having to end this call.
Yeah,
I hear sort of thunder and the lights are starting to flicker. So if
Uh-oh.
the internet goes out, it's going to kill the meeting.
Shoots. Maybe my Wi-Fi. Sorry, I left the Wi-Fi area.
Okay. All right, so you guys are heading to the movie, and then they asked about a meetup. Someone, Mr. Ratchet, he asked about a meetup in September when you were on somewhere else, Mark.
Oh, don't get me involved in those. I'm not.
You're the leader of all of us.
No. Well, it's gonna be in Hawaii then.
You're the team leader. You're the team leader.
So, Jack, you had a question or something for me?
Oh, I was wondering. Okay, so like you're part of the union also, right?
Yes.
How many years is it that you have to stay in order to get health benefits out of it, or is it just completely different with every union?
Oh, it's different with every union, and then it changes when guys get in, because just like anything, it's the newer guys coming in, their package is not the same as mine, and mine is not the same as guys previously before me. So it's just something that changes. So like people that got in before me, them and their spouses covered for life when they retire. They got rid of the spouse. So like for me, if I did the full 25 years, then I get medical for life. But then I'd have to do 25 years. So right now, where I'm at, when I retire, I'll get 75. So if I don't hit my 25, then I'll get 75% medical when but then but I also have to wait to 55 age. So even if I retire early, I'd have to figure out medical for until I hit 55.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this. The lights are flickering here.
All right.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
everyone. It's great seeing you all.
All right.
All right, everyone.
Harrison, you too. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Nice to
Thanks,
meet
Chris.
everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.